It's fucking time! It's here! The trailer is here! I have already watched it, but I'm gonna watch it through completely once, and then I'm gonna start going through and talking about my thoughts and what I think it's gonna be, my assumptions and all that good shit. I'll do it with the captions on.
Peggy 16.
Pure and radiant, he wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men. There is nothing more terrifying.
In that forsaken place, blood must spill. Blood of your fellows. They are truly faithful.
They were never saints. They just happened to be on the losing side of a war.
Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light?
I presume you, too, are keen to know just what kind Mikkeller is doing here.
Those stripped of the race of gold shall all meet death in the embrace of Messmer's flame.
Come now. Touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again.
Man, fuck. Shit gets me so hyped every time I see it. And I've seen it like 2 dozen times at this point. But holy shit, dude. This statue looks amazing too. Lanky fucker with arms that go down past his knees. So all of those wings are attached to the snake, not his armor. I initially thought that this was like reminiscent of the Drake Knight armor, which it still kind of is, but I thought those wings were actually a part of his armor. Like that big wing you have coming out the side of the Drake Knight armor. The spear looks sick though, and I reckon it's actually going to be a sick boss weapon. 21st of June, I am so glad that it wasn't like, hey, surprise guys, it's coming out in 3 days. Because I wanted time to prepare, and it looks like I've got plenty of time to prepare. If anything, maybe a little bit too much time to prepare. I was honestly sort of expecting this whole place to be reminiscent of like the Elden Ring, that picture where it's like Vike sticking the thing in the ground, like it looks like all the lands are sort of like converging in on each other, just like at the end of Dark Souls 3. Yeah, this picture. I thought it was going to be something like this, which in a way you could sort of say that it is, but it looks completely different. Like this is the dragon and the post from in Godric's boss room. Everything's sort of converging. This is a kind of shitty quality picture of it. But I thought this was basically going to be the DLC. Alright, but anyway, let's go back.
Peggy
Start going
16.
through this shit. Because I've already paused it 4 seconds in, nothing's even showing up on the screen. I've got a lot of thoughts and theories on what this shit could be, and who Mesmer could be, and that lion thing. So starting off, I don't know who this is. I've seen a lot of people think it was Melina, but the boots and the dress don't really match up, I don't think. Melina's boots didn't have this shit going on in the back here. They were very normal looking thigh-high boots. The first thought that came into mind, this kind of looks like the dress that the chick who ate Rykard wears, I think. So who knows? It also kind of looks like the noble dress, but maybe it's the exact same. But obviously, I mean, fuck, like the second I killed Moog and decided to walk on past here, and I saw that egg and I saw the hand, and there was nothing we could do with the hand, I knew in my mind, first thing, that's going to be a DLC entrance. We're going to fucking touch his hand and it's going to suck us in, just like Gale with the fucking painting. That's always the thought I had from the minute I killed Moog and walked out and saw nothing behind him. I feel like a lot of people sort of guessed this. It was fairly obvious. Such a big set piece and something that was really talked up and hyped up and alluded to throughout the game. Not necessarily hyped, but it was talked about a lot. As I say, it was alluded to with like Gideon telling you to find Mikola or find Moog, whatever the fuck. I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've talked to that old fuck, but you know what I'm talking about, right? And like Millennia wanting to protect him. And he's such a big part of the story, Mikola, and there is nothing about him, so it was kind of obvious they were going to do something with this.
Pure.
And from what I've heard, obviously you're going to have to kill Moog to get into the DLC, but apparently Miyazaki said in an interview that you're also going to have to kill Radahn. I'm not sure what that I'm not sure why that would matter, because I don't think you need to kill Radahn to kill Moog. Do you? No, you don't. I don't think you do. So I'm kind of confused as to how that is going to work. Maybe Radahn's death is going to have some sort of big impact in the story of the DLC. Maybe he needs to be dead for certain things to happen in the DLC.
Pure and radiant, he wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men. There is nothing more terrifying.
I don't really understand what he's meaning here, exactly. I do believe I remember something being said about Mikola during the base game, and that he's like not the most terrifying of them all, but like has the most potential of them, or something weird like that. How he's like low-key the strongest one of them all. Even though all of them feared Malekith, but Malekith could fucking kill him with a swipe of his sword, so it makes sense. I don't really understand what he means by pure and radiant. He wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men. I don't really understand. I know that he has some sort of like aura that makes people adore him. Maybe that's it. Like uncontrolled adoration for him is the terrifying part of it.
There is nothing more terrifying.
I've also seen a few people think that this is actually Mesmer, but I don't see how that's possible. Everything that we've been sort of led to believe, this has to be Mikola, like a distorted body of Mikola, and the reason it is so fucked up is because of whatever Moog's been doing to him in there. You can see these drapes here. It looks like a veil. I thought that was a really cool touch that I didn't actually pick up on the first time I watched the trailer. I thought it was just a weird skybox, and it is a weird skybox, but I didn't realise that it actually had like a veil going over, coming up from on top of the tree and like going all around it and shit. Looks really cool. That also kind of looks like the church where you find the big dog. Those buttresses remind me of Elfale. But FromSoft love their big cathedrals and buttresses. So one of my big assumptions was that the DLC was actually going to be set in like a Elfale in the past, or like a dream version of Elfale, because FromSoft like going back and like touching up old areas, or like reimagining old areas from base game into the DLCs of all of their other games. And you got all these like phantom tombstones from the promotional image still, which I think is really cool, and I want to know what it represents. All of these routes kind of remind me of like Caelid. What is that Is that like some Farum Azula type shit happening over there? I don't know, because it looks like things are coming up off of there. You can see this is all sort of falling apart, but so is everything in FromSoft games, so that's not really out of the ordinary, right? It almost looks like, I don't think it is, but it almost looks like that's like Marika's bedchamber. And that's like the throne platform plaza area right outside the tree. It's just reminiscent of it. I don't actually think that's what it is. Dude, this fucking view. Look at that, dude. And you can get a really good look at the Vale here too, coming up over it. I want to know what is going on with these buildings. It looks like the sap is seeping down into this building, and it almost seems like the building was made for that, or it's like eroding the building. But when I saw this, I was baffled. I was slack-jawed at just how big this DLC is. Like, even if this is the entire DLC, that is still huge. I believe me, as Lucky said, it's about the same size as Limgrave. Possibly a bit bigger. Which, at first, when you first hear it, you think, Limgrave is not that big. Surely they're not charging you $40 US for the first area of Elden Ring, but with more bosses. But, when you really think about it, if you took your time in Limgrave, you could be there for dozens of hours. And I fucking mean it. And Limgrave being a lower scaled area, it's also a lot quicker to progress through as well. But because this is going to be a high scaled area, it's going to take a lot longer to go through the similar surface area that you would have in Limgrave in here. I don't know, this looks like a part of a great rune, but it also looks like it's sticking out of the ground. And we're a lot closer to the tree here. It looks death blighty, the tree. This shot also just reminds me of like the Ring City stuff for some reason. But it does look like that's been deliberately made like that. But also because of where we are, we're fairly close to it, and it still looks sort of low poly in how it's cut. Maybe we don't actually go up there. Maybe we just go into like this building here. And it looks like that sap is dropping behind it. But I heard someone say that they reckon like maybe you could use this to summon forth Nicola, just have a little chat with him or something like that, which I think would be really cool. But it has to have some sort of significance. This helmet sort of reminds me of a mixture of like Wilhelm's, that's his name, right? Frida's little butt buddy. A mixture of that and Banished Knight armor. It's kind of hard to tell what the chest piece is going to be, but it looks like armor that's been covered in cloth, like a robe of some sort, which I can fucking get behind, because I like Dark Angels and Sisters of Battle from Warhammer 40k. That's the type of shit they do. It's also a long-ass bridge that's probably going to have a boss fight on it, or a gimmick boss, or some shit. It better not be like that one long bridge in Lander with a guy with a horse on it that chases you and you can't use your own horse and you just got to run along there for like 5 minutes. There's a lot of shit going on back here too. I wonder just how close to the tree we're going to get, or if we'll even go in it. Looks like there's some weird stuff happening in the actual shadow of the tree. Because it looks like there's light here. Maybe this grass being orange is just a result of this thing lighting it up. Or maybe this thing is like providing some sort of health to the greenery. But some wacky shit does seem to be happening within the shadow of the tree. The shot is just so cool. It just reminds me of Dark Souls for some reason. Oh, you can actually see a bit on the back of the shirt here. Looks like a candelabra or a chandelier of sorts. New NPC. Looks like a chick. At least I'm hoping it's a chick because they got exposed thighs, but you never fucking know. That breastplate. It's kind of hard to tell, but the way it juts out a bit more makes me think it is a chick. But also, look at that fucking sword, man. That's going to be cool. Weird armor, though. I kind of like the chest piece. This armor would look pretty good on a female character, I can't lie. Or like a duelist male character if you're going for that sort of roleplay shit. You can't really tell much else going on here, though, other than the sky. But that's just like time of day related, I would imagine.
In that forsaken place.
Havel armor, huh? I don't actually reckon this is an NPC. I've seen people think this is an NPC. I think this is going to be like an enemy? Or maybe it is like a friendly NPC, but it's not like a player model NPC. It's something like EG. Big dude. Big friendly dude. Big Havel. These coil things. I'm pretty sure in one of these shots back here you can actually see those. Yeah, you can see that some of them down here. The coil stuff. It doesn't really have any significance yet, but just in terms of location, you can see a bunch of them down here that seem to be leading towards somewhere. A lot of more of these dead trees hanging about. Man.
Yes.
I wonder if that's going to be like a weapon or a big pot. Maybe this is the guy that we get those massive pots from that we throw. That we can throw. Okay, this is... I have a feeling... I have a few mixed opinions on this character right here. I have a feeling this is either going to be a boss, a friendly NPC, or potentially both. As to who it is, I feel like it could be Saint Trina, because Purple Flowers is big. These ones back here, which are pretty similar to the Saint Trina flowers and stuff. And obviously they're fucking sleeping, so it's kind of obvious this is to do with Saint Trina. But I'm just wondering if it's actually supposed to be Saint Trina herself. I'm not sure if I should be referring to Saint Trina as a she, seeing as it's Mikola, but anyway. I'm trying to look in the top left. I don't think that's anything important. It does look like a weird-ass face, though. But anyway. I had the thought that potentially Saint Trina, I'm going to get into this a bit later, but that Saint Trina and Mikola are sort of the same deal as, like, Radagon and Marika. Or if it's just, like, an alter ego, rather than, like, actual completely different person, different gender and everything like that. Because they show just such a small glimpse of it, I have a feeling this is going to be like a tough boss or something.
Blood must spill.
Yeah, they are still kicking. You can see them breathe and move. It's a weird mask. But because the hair is so long and so white and it's got like this ornate stuff going through it, that's why I think it might be Mikola / Saint Trina. Because Mikola has really, really long white hair. I guess it's more, like, goldy blonde than white, but same difference. This looks kind of like the room where you get that moon of Noxtella or whatever it is, where that chick with the 2 sludge things that turn into NPCs. The purple flame is like Saint Trina's torch that you get in the snowfields. This is obviously an NPC because you can tell by the face when it gets closer up. You can kill him, obviously. I wonder what he would drop. He's probably some pretty important NPC though, considering like just this whole set piece. It sort of also reminds me of Raya Lucaria with these cages around, because I'm pretty sure Raya Lucaria has cages like this all around the place as well. Just these sort of set pieces remind me of Raya Lucaria, as well as the underground areas like Noxtella.
Blood of your fellows.
Yeah, you can tell by the face it's an NPC, because that's a similar sort of face that Hyetta and Irina have. Very pudgy. It's a player NPC. Interesting little collar he got there. Weird hat too. Reminds me of the Court Sorcerer hat from Dark Souls 3. New armor. Looks kind of cool. It's like the crow feather stuff from Bloodborne, but with no no clothing, just feathers. I can get behind that. Also, is this supposed to be like a Deathblight swamp or something? Surely not, right? Could even be madness related, but look at all this. This is some sort of swamp. Oh, is there a bunch of birds lined up like that? Weird. Consulting the bird council. So cool, dude. I wonder what's in there. I'll find out in 4 months. I don't know who that is. They have brown/black hair. They've got bracelets. Initially I thought they had blonde hair because of all this, but I don't think that's actually their hair. I think that's just part of like their headdress. I'm going to talk about this guy in a bit, because I believe he is further in the trailer. He shows up further along in the trailer. But I have no idea who that's supposed to be. It'll likely be obvious when Vati Video comes along and makes like a 3-hour analysis of this video, and he talks about this chick for like 20 minutes of those 3 hours. And then he makes it seem completely obvious. But right now, I am clueless. Maybe it's even the Glowmide Queen. Maybe it's Melina before she became a little bitch. I think it's just the painting. The way the painting is. But it almost looks like he has a shitload of scars on his hands, just like Melina had as well. Which is kind of interesting. A lot of pot friends. This is the pot friend factory, I see. There's not really much to talk about here, other than the fact that there's a lot of pots hanging, and this area is pretty big, and you can likely do a lot of platforming here, assuming you can jump that far, and you probably got to go down. And then there's a way to go up, and then there's a shortcut to get down by doing all this jumping shit. I imagine it's going to be something similar down in the catacombs of Lanedale, the sewer in Lanedale, where all the caravan guys are. Probably something similar to that parkour stuff you gotta do. Is that a guy? Is there someone moving? Right here. There's like 2 figures here. It kind of looks like... I think they're moving, but maybe that's just because of the way the camera is. I can't quite tell. Looks like 2 figures sitting there. Next to like a blue flame or something. Okay. This is very reminiscent of like the heroes' graves. The lava one specifically, obviously. But this seems like some sort of drainage for lava, because you can see it's actually moving in there. It's rotating. That's the prisoner outfit. I wonder if this is some sort of reference to Berserk and what's his name? Little gay dude going around doing stuff. But Miyazaki also said that the way he's going to try and make like the underground stuff, or like the dungeons and the heroes' graves and shit like that, is he's going to try and make them more... He's going to try and make it more seamless in terms of like the transition between overworld and caves and stuff like that. He said it in an interview, and so I'd imagine that this is going to be like some sort of transition between a hero's grave and the outer world. Or perhaps this is just a hero's grave in general. But either way, more lava, that's going to tickle my feet and not do much else. Now this. We got more of these twisty things. Like where the big dude was. The way the architecture is set up, it sort of reminds me of Elfale as well. I've seen some people say Stormvale, but it looks nothing like Stormvale. Stormvale is very pointy. This isn't that close to the tree either, seeing as directly above this thing, there doesn't seem to be any tree branches. So this is fairly out of the way, which is exactly where Elfale is. It's nowhere near the tree. Same with Stormvale, though, to be fair. And also Farum Azula. I don't think the architecture looks too much like Farum Azula. Actually, let me. I don't know, because I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff like this around Farum Azula. I'm not sure, but the elephant in the room, look in the shadow bit. Everything's sort of falling apart and breaking up, just like in, well, Farum Azula. And you can see all these branches growing everywhere as well. Maybe those are just breaks in the wall and the buildings, which I think that's what these are. But you can see branches here. So I wonder if that's going to be like the bottom of it is going to be all normal, and the further up you go, the more fucked up everything gets, and then you're going to have some weird thing happen up here, if you can even go up there. But like, look at all that too. Just the way you get
You'll
up
never
there.
sink.
Let me go back. Fuck. I forgot the buttons to go back frame by frame. There we go. Let me go to the last frame before it changes. Try and get as much of a view of it as possible. I want to see what this is here. Because I feel like they've got to be covering it up for a reason, but maybe not. Maybe they're just trying to make me think that. But it seems like everything in the shadow realm, I'm going to call it, is just like deteriorating. Falling apart. Breaking apart. Because it's in the shadow, right? Because the light is shining on all of this here, and it's fine. And then it's completely dark up here. But also, there's no light here either, but this isn't all falling apart, so I'm not entirely sure. And also, the more I look at it, the less I think it is Elfale. Just because Elfale has a lot of buttresses. A lot of big buttresses and a lot of big pillars and a lot of walls and constant walls going around and everywhere. I want to know what that is over there. It's like a big ramp. Big stairs. All of this over here, like with this building here, and all the trees, kind of reminds me of Limgrave, in a way.
They just happen to be.
This has to be an overworld boss. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than one of them. I'm not sure why I think that, but I just get the feeling this isn't going to be the only one. It also looks very similar to a lot of the stuff used up in, like, not up in the mountaintops. I'm thinking, like, it's used by that community of pyromancers and witch bitches. Looks a lot like the kind of stuff that they would be using.
On the losing side of a war.
Just a post-edit touch-up, because I never actually acknowledged the dialogue that she says here, but she says that they were never saints. They just happened to be on the losing side of a war. And I believe what she's referring to there is the people of the culture of the Crucible. Because it's made out that they were essentially genocided, and we're made out to almost feel bad for them. However, it's sort of making it out in this DLC that they were never the good guys. They were just on the losing side of a war. Yeah, it's an overworld boss because we can ride time. Or it's like some fire giant shit. But just the way that, like, there's like architecture out here and buildings over here and the tree up over there makes me think this is some sort of overworld boss. The way that horns, I don't think that they're obviously not grown because this thing seems like it was made. Oh, look, there's people. I never even noticed this. There's people stuck inside there. All around the wrist here, all around like the waist, down by the ankles, and this wrist too. It's all people. Like hands sticking out, and you can see heads. It's like people are trying to get out and reach for help. Wow, I never even noticed. But these horns and everything here just looks a lot like a mixture between Omen stuff and like the thorny bitches. The thorny bitches. That's cool. I wonder if all that inside isn't actually coal, it's burning bodies. Also, I wonder what she's saying. I mean, look at...
forsaken place. Blood must spill. Blood of your fellows. They are truly faithful.
A lot of the dialogue confuses me, as does most From Software dialogues. It's not until you go looking at all these different sources and different things people said and put it all together in their context that you really start to get a big picture of it all. But I do remember that everything about the Crucible, right? And the fact that this whole area predates Marika, the Erd Tree, and everything like that. And everything that came before the Erd Tree was the Crucible. And everyone sort of worshipped like the Crucible and all that sort of stuff. So I'm thinking that spilling the blood of your fellows is like the Crucible, what do you want to call it? Purists basically trying to cull the Erd Tree faithful of the Tarnished, people who are guided by grace. Maybe.
The Erd Tree faithful.
A war on the Erd Tree, essentially. By people who are all about the
They were
Crucible.
never saints. They just happened to be on the
Yeah, look at that. The bodies. That is fucked up.
loose inside of a wall.
Cool face. These look like worm faces, but not as fucked up. And also, look at all the eyes. That's what, 4 sets of eyes? I'm assuming they have more on the other side, too. Weird. So strange. It's like a mixture of something from Bloodborne and those worm faces. I don't think I really have much to say on that. Big Moon! Okay, this is really strange. But I think this is all to do with the Crucible. This whole thing. This lion. Also, the 2 sets of teeth is really strange. It looks like human teeth and then like actual animal teeth. And it's really, really unsettling. Also, had a human hand making the head come up. Human foot, of course, Miyazaki and his foot fetish. Look at that, man. Look at that. Look at the eyes. I don't know what... I've never seen anything like that in a FromSoft game. Maybe this is all to do with the Crucible. But it also has a lot of omen horns, which is also tied in with the Crucible. It has, like, the fur. I wouldn't say feathers, but it has a lot of that fur that the Misbegotten have as well. This guy looks like a really big Misbegotten. And those teeth he has look a lot like the teeth Misbegotten have as well. This seems like peak Crucible shit, basically. But it also has... It seems like there's some sort of grafting or some weird shit going on here. Because there's a couple people inside there. You can see one leg back here. You can see the hand on its jaw here. I think you can see a foot over here as well. It's like a fucked up Ludwig. Or a less fucked up Ludwig, I guess. I think that hand is still on the jaw. It's like this head is being controlled by something in here. Yeah, the hand is still on the jaw by the looks of it. It's kind of hard to really get a good look at it all because of the motion blur. But yeah, the hand is still on the jaw. You can see it there. So I would imagine that it's the hand that is controlling this thing. Because this thing doesn't look happy or pissed. It looks pretty sad to be in the position that it's in. Okay, well, I broke it. Fantastic. Oh, no, there we go. It looks sad. Yeah, it's really hard to tell because of all the motion blur. Even if I bumped up the quality, I don't think it would help. You can see 2 feet there. I think that's another foot there. Or you can see a set of legs there. That's very obvious, plain as day. You can see a pair of legs standing on something here too. And a set of hands here, so probably like a head wrapped in there. Something standing on it. And another set of legs down here too. He's about to step down with that foot. There is his hands, there's another leg, and he's being stepped on by something else. So it seems like someone's, like two guys standing on top of each other controlling this big head. That shit is crazy, dude. Chucking lightning. But this thing is like peak Crucible, right? And I think Miyazaki said in the Japanese interview, there was a pretty rough translation that I saw of it, but it seems like this is like very, like the pinnacle of the culture that the people had prior to the age of the Erd Tree and Marika becoming a god and taking over. Like, because the Crucible was a really big thing back then, before the Erd Tree, right? And I think this is reminiscent of that culture still. And I think it's part of like the war between the Crucible and the Erd Tree. Okay, the big man himself. This wrist strap, whatever you want to call it, wrist guard, bracer, looks very similar to the Godskin's bracer. Red Snake, everyone was sort of like, Rykard, it's fucking young Rykard. But I don't see how that... I don't think so. I think the snake is just representative of him being a traitor to the Erd Tree, in a way. Possibly, I'm not too sure. But he's got a very weird body, which I'll get into all the family stuff later, but it makes me think that he's cursed in some sort of way. Mother.
Wouldst thou truly lordship?
This is a weird one. At first, I thought it was like destined death, but then it seems like it's fire. So it could be blood flame, or it could be his own version of fire. Like Messmer's flame is something that's brought up both in this trailer and in the description of the DLC. So maybe it's his own kind of fire. Dude, that weapon looks so sick. I'm a sucker for spears, like really cool looking spears. Like you see how the wings are there. They're coming off of the snake, but I thought it was very reminiscent of the Drake Knight armor, especially with all the red drapes and everything. But that has to be his own type of flame, right? I would imagine so. Because you have like Frenzied Flame, you have Fell Flame. And it looks similar to the Fell Flame, but I think it's his own little twist on it. I can't really see the throne behind him. He's got a dragon eye too. I think his other eye is shut. Because you can see he has red eyelashes, and these are down here, whereas these ones are up here. He's a Rangatu. So he's related to Radagon in some sort of way. Also, the way his face is very feminine? That's probably not the right word, but just the way his face looks makes me think of Radagon.
Bereft of light.
So, what he's saying here could be interpreted in a couple different ways, at least to me. The most common thing that people seem to agree upon is that he's referring to Marika wanting Tarnished, aka us, to become the new Elden Lord. And Miyazaki has already said this doesn't take place before or after the main game, it takes place alongside the main game. So we wouldn't have been Elden Lord yet, story-wise, I don't think. Unless they decide to do something weird like that, where if you go in after you beat the game, there's like different stuff happening. But anyway, so I think what he's saying here is more or less questioning why Marika would want someone such as us to take the throne.
Wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in ones?
Bereft of light. This could be like a double meaning, but I feel like that is like the guidance of grace, more or less. So we don't really have, yeah, deprived. So that's what I was thinking. I was kind of overwhelmed with shit to say. Because we're deprived of the guidance of grace, I think he's sort of pissed that we're becoming lords. But the way that I initially interpreted this was that he was actually... So this is like my sort of tinfoil hat theory. His mother, he's referring to... So I'll tell you how I got to this after. But I feel like he's referring to Saint Trina wanting us to become their lord. So basically my tinfoil hat theory is that this guy could actually be a son of Saint Trina. Saint Trina being the mother, which is why I feel like Saint Trina and Mikola could be the same person but different genders, as in like Marika Radagon sort of shit happening. And the thing that makes me say that is, in the land of shadow, Mikola awaits the return of his promised lord. So if lord is referring to us, then potentially it is Mikola / Saint Trina wanting us to become and be his lord, just as we were Rani. And Mesmer's pissed because his mother, Saint Trina, is getting us to come in and be the lord.
In one so bereft of light.
But the more I think about it, the more I think that he's likely a lost child of Marika and Radagon, a cursed lost child, which would explain why he has such fucked up proportions. But he also doesn't have anything openly, outly wrong with him other than his bodily proportions, so there's really no way to know yet. But this isn't really the kind of thing they would let us know off the bat, right? Because like with Millennia's trailer, you couldn't really tell she had something fucked up with her. You just thought that that big flower was her ability, not a curse.
In one so bereft.
The chainmail and all the scales made me think it was very similar to the Drake Knight armor. Alright, I'll stop pausing on this fucking guy.
Of light.
These weapons, look at how they're held. Look at how these weapons are being held. It's reverse grip. Sorry, the sound is really weird. But look at that shit. And that looks like a unique Ash of War. It kind of looks like a quick step, but the way he's leaning down and then comes up with a swing like that, I don't think that is the quick step. I think that's unique to this weapon. But also I think this is a completely new weapon type. It is still a twin blade, and I think they're both the exact same. So whether it's like a power stance thing or actually twinned weapons, I'm not sure. But either way, it's a reverse grip weapon. So I'm kind of concerned if these are going to have really shitty range because of that, but it's still a really cool idea that I don't think they've done before.
Light.
And also these things these guys are holding, never mind, I'll get back to this, what they're holding. But they also look very similar to, say, for example, like Margit when he's hiding himself with his little cloak. And they got the horns and everything too, so I feel like these are some sort of omen or just Crucible related thing. What is going on up there? Maybe that's the tree. I don't know. But anyway. Yeah, they're breathing fire out of these candles. I'll come back to these guys and talk about the candles in a sec. These knives, dual wielding knives, I don't know if they're, again, I don't know if they're twinned weapons or if they're individual. However, oh, what the fuck? What is that? Anyway, I believe these weapons actually do not have melee attacks. I believe they are all ranged. And what makes me think that is it was in one of Miyazaki's interviews he was talking about it. Talking about how all the attacks are ranged attacks like this, which is going to be really cool to see. But also, what is that? Massive cloth. And that there. This was a weird thing to show, but at least that's what I initially thought. But it makes more sense now that they're completely unique and you throw them. And you can't smack people with them. New incantation. Got butterflies and shit. Purple butterflies. Could be sleep-inducing incantations. But also, look at that statue. It's got horns coming off of it, and it's like a fucked up lion. It looks like a misbegotten's face with a lion's mane and horns coming out of it. So it's all very Crucible-esque. That was weird. I can't tell if they're flinching because they're getting hurt, or if they're flinching because they're being put to sleep. Or if it's something completely different. But either way, cool incantation, cool animation. Okay, this might be one of the greatest fucking parts. Now, this could be a few different things. That could be an Ash of War, which is the most disappointing outcome for it to be. It could be an Ash of War. 2, it could be a talisman that enhances unarmed strikes. That might be like the best option. Or 3, it is a melee. It is a fist weapon of sorts, but you can't actually see him holding any weapons, so I'm not even sure if that's the case. But I'm hoping this is like Bone Fist 2.0 from Dark Souls 2. The Dragon Bone Fist was in Dark Souls 1, but Dark Souls 2's Bone Fist is the best fucking thing they've ever made. Also, this looks like a Black Hand armor from Dark Souls 3. Very Dark Souls 3 Bloodborne-esque armor. But that hat is very, like, Black Hand, Gotthard stuff. Also, there's a boss fog here, so I don't know if this guy's a boss because he's staggering so easily from kicks, but I reckon the boss is in there, and he's an elite guard because he seems to have the same sort of skeleton and animations and look that, like, Lanedale Knights have. So I'm assuming this is just, like, another variation of the Lanedale Knight, but with a fucking twin blade, which is sick. But anyway, I'm hoping that this is like a full-on moveset, and this isn't actually like the only thing we can do with it is the double kick, and then the strike down kick. I'm hoping it has a lot more to its moveset than just this, and I hope it's a lot like the Dark Souls 2 Bone Fist, because that is definitely the greatest melee weapon, well, the greatest fist weapon they have ever made. Like, hands down. Nothing even comes close. Big bombs, boy! Look at his fucking eyes. Yeah, he's waiting. He's loving it. Oh my god. I'm gonna be loving it too. That is amazing. The joy in that man's eyes is beyond any I have ever seen before. Yeah, that is sick. It's like the trolls in Halo that throw that shit at you, and in the mountaintop.
I presume you do.
Look at that armor. It's like Lap's armor, but with a big cape, and it's like dark grey, silvery. Very dense forest. So we're going to have some very foresty areas too, which is very nice. And we got fucking Gale's crossbow. That is going to be so annoying to deal with in PvP, dude. Especially in ganks. When it's a 1v3 and there's one dude peppering you with this. Oh my god. And if there's sleep or deathblight bolts too. Oh no. This is going to be busted for the first week of the DLC. So cool, dude.
Just
Like a dragon shark, but with a fucking bear with a horn growing out of it and shit. It makes a lot of sense too, seeing as rune bears are more or less turning into dragons. So this makes more sense than it should do. It's got a big horn coming off of it. This looks cool, dude. I love the blue flowers and the blue grass. I have no idea where this is. You can't see anything like this from, like, the big view, the overview of the whole place. There's no blue anywhere to be seen. Maybe it's underground. Maybe it's like an actual dream state. Maybe it's the final DLC boss, because they love doing that sort of shit in big flowery areas. Could you imagine how anticlimactic and disappointing it would be if the final boss fight of the DLC was a fucking NPC? Samurai versus an NPC with a red dress that looks pretty cool. New weapons too. That looks like the dance. They don't look like the dancer's blades, but they do look like they attack like the dancer's blades. Look at the spins they're doing, and the way they're dislocating their shoulders. That's very dancer-esque. It's a cool red dress though. I'm certain we'll be able to get this on players. Fucking Gravity Tree Sentinel riding an armored boar, dude. That is sick. And that weapon. No chance they do not give you this weapon. You have to. They have to give you this weapon. A Gravity Great Lance, man. I love lances in these games. Especially Dark Souls 2. The Great Lance in Elden Ring is sort of whatever. But this guy's gonna be tough, I reckon. Either that or a pushover. He looks sick too. Giant hippo! Big hippo! Crucible related stuff as usual. Big horns, big teeth. Weird ass fur. And thorns. A fucking porcupine hippopotamus. Porcupotamus. Not really much I have to say about it, other than it's a creature of the Crucible, that it seems like. Everything in this DLC seems very Crucible related. A lot about the Crucible. And Miyazaki said himself that this DLC goes into a lot of like Marika's past before she became a god, so it's probably going to go into details about how she sort of smothered the Crucible worship. This is really strange. It looks like a mixture of Medea's boss room and the room where you fight the twin gargoyles, or like the ancestor spirit, whatever the fuck it's called. A lot of purple flowers around, or just a lot of flowers in general. Throws this massive disc that I'm sure we're going to get as a weapon too, just like the Herald Cleaver thing from Dark Souls 3. Probably going to be able to do some weird shit with it. Very strange. Looks like a spine leading to a head, and that head looks like from the dudes from Nier Automata. It looks like he's a part of the horse, and that horse is like barely standing, dude. It's like a Leonard Part 2, Leonard's brother. It looks like the back end of that horse is just sludge, and he's barely pulling himself forward. That's fucked up. That's gotta be a boss, though. This has to be the guy from the picture. It has to be that guy. Look at what he's wearing, and look at that, like, buckle thing. This thing here.
I've got two tinfoil hat theories about this fella right here for ya that I didn't mention in the video. So you ready for them? Alright, number one, he and that woman are the parents of Melina, or they were together to some degree. The reason I think they're connected to Melina is because of the scars on his hand, and because it's a chick that we know fucking nothing about. Oh, also, she's got her hand over her belly like she could possibly be pregnant. Second tinfoil hat theory. The chick standing next to him is in line with the Crucible, and he is faithful to the Erd Tree, and she's the reason he goes down the dark path of sticking that thing in him, or pulling it out of him. Whichever one. I don't know what it's called, but look at that. It has to be the same guy. It's got the same purple or yellow staff, it's got that buckle there. And also, the thing he is pulling out of himself looks a lot like, so look at it, it like goes straight down, there's like a little rib cage, and then it stretches out into a bunch of big ones, and they gradually get smaller and smaller. Looks exactly like the things these guys are holding. So I don't know what the significance there is, but it is the same shape and everything. Yeah, look at that. So it looks like whatever it is stabbed into him, this is the part that's like his tailbone, and then it makes its all way up, and then this is where he's pulling it out, basically. This also looks like a boss cutscene. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the final boss cutscene or something. I don't even know how this dude is still kicking. Look, he's got nothing going on down here. A lot of blood over that thing too. Fucking hell. I just want to know what the fuck is even going on here. How did that dude in the picture end up like this? Oh, he's like actually pulling his head off with it too. Oh god.
Race of gold.
This dude is gonna be like Millennia 2.0. He has to be. He's such a fucking badass. Look at him. Big snake, big two-headed snake or two snakes with wings coming off of the snakes for some weird reason. Not like actual wings they can use to fly, it's just a spare wing here and there. He's got a cool helmet. I was thinking of buying it, but nah.
Shadow.
Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death by the embrace of Mesmer's flame. So, it seems like... I don't know what the deal is there. It seems like he is loyal to Radagon, in a way. Because Radagon is all about the grace of gold and keeping all that shit going. Nah, I'm thinking wrong, aren't I? I don't know, I'm not too up to date with all the grace of gold and who hates who.
Death.
I reckon that's going to be the Ash of War. It's going to be like Vike's spear, more or less, but with a big fucking flame explosion. I reckon that's going to be the Ash of War. It has to be, right? You jump up and you stab it into the ground, and then you stab it again to make this massive AoE and a bunch of spears stick out of the ground. It's got to be the Ash of War when you get that weapon. He looks so cool, man. He looks really weird, like everything going on down here, but up here, everything looks really cool. I like his hair. Look at him, man. He looks very similar to the Godskin Apostle in face. And I think his eye is shut. At first I thought that was just like a milky eye, but no, I think he's actually just kept it shut. And it's the same eye that Melina keeps shut as well, so I wonder if there's a connection between the two of them. But I thought this shot was really cool, when he comes back up and he summons that weapon.
Death. In the embrace of Mesmer's flame.
That shot right there.
Come now.
I thought that was a really cool
Touch the
shot.
withered
That looks like a new weapon too. It's like a mixture between a twin blade and a great shield, by the looks of it. But this guy is gonna beat shit. He's gonna fuck up so many people. They did say that there's gonna be a boss that's similar to difficulty to Millennia, and I'm assuming it's gonna be this guy, because they're hyping him up so much.
Come now. Touch the withered arm.
There's a grab. Look how weird he is. He's got a huge torso and tiny arms, head, and legs. So strange. Cool weapon though, and cool hair.
And travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind.
Yes, can't. Crucible aspects of the Crucible wings. But it kind of looks like it's an Ash of War for that Twin Blade rather than an actual incantation. Unless that Twin Blade is also able to cast incantations. But either way, dude, everyone wanted this. If there was any aspect of the Crucible spell people wanted, it was this. Like, you could have gotten rid of breath and given us this. And people would have been fine. About fucking time. People were waiting for that Garden of Eyes dude's mod just to do this sort of shit. But it's a cool shot, but this is probably never going to work in the game. You're probably just going to get fucked up because of the counter damage. And he's probably going to one-shot you. But it's a cool shot.
May we meet again.
I don't know who that is talking. Come now, touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow.
And travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again.
It sounds like Nefeli Lu, but I don't think it is. Nefeli has not much to do with all of this, other than the fact that she is likely a descendant of Godfrey, and Godfrey had ties with the Crucible. That's all I can really think of. But other than that, it's probably a new NPC, because there's no one else that talks like that, and sounds like that. But holy shit, dude. Holy shit. And then it shows Mikola here at the end. This is likely like the very, very end cutscene of the DLC where Mikola's fixing everything. Because, like, the light coming off of it, there's no more veil. Hopefully we'll actually see Mikola's face. Because they've still never fucking shown it. But that's definitely Mikola. Well, it has to be Mikola because of the what do you call that fucking, the tiara thing? I don't know if there's another name for it, the circlet, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I was going to say, it's a possibility that it could be a cutscene of Marika back in the past, but I don't see FromSoft doing anything like that. I think it's going to be Mikola there at the very end of the DLC, fixing everything and then telling you to fuck off. Everything's going all white up here as well. I don't think that's just because of the light either. Man, fuck. I can't wait, but I can wait. This is going to be so sick. Holy shit, dude. I'm still debating whether or not I'm actually going to stream it or not, because I want to, like, immerse myself in it, but I might just stream it and then just barely talk throughout it. To get the best of both worlds, I guess. Because I want to have it on footage, or on stream. Like me doing it. And I don't want to just steamroll my way through it either. I was thinking of doing it on like New Game Plus 2 or something. So I get my shit kicked in. The Land of Shadow, a place obscured by the Erd Tree, where the goddess Marika first set foot. A land purged in an unsung battle, set ablaze by Messmer's flame. It was to this land that Mikola departed, divesting himself of his flesh, his strength, his lineage, of all things golden. Strange. Very strange. From what Miyazaki said in interviews, these are the Shadowlands where Marika originates from. Something happened to have it become disconnected from the Erd Tree. Mikola has come here to retrace his mother's steps, but Messmer the Impaler seems to be its ruler, and sits in the same throne the demigods have outside the Erd Tree. Pilgrims have followed Mikola here to be friendly NPCs as we track down Mikola on their journey. Considering his red hair and how he calls for his mother, Messmer may be a bastard Empyrean. Yeah, possibly. But there are also redhead kids from Renala and Radagon. But I don't see him referring to Renala when he says mother, because Renala really has nothing to do with lords and making people lords. At least not in any important sense that it would warrant like this entire fucking DLC and this character being shitty about it. This boss design from the Wicker Man. Oh yeah. Holy shit, dude. 6 million views in 16 hours. I remember when I was watching the premiere, there was, I think, like 500,000 people there watching it live. Messmer has his left eye sealed like Melina does, indeed. When Innocent told us in his final moments after he walks on my lawn, he was trespassing.
I presume you too.
Yeah, cool. Dark Eater Medea Cave. Yeah, looks similar. Looks to be a boss cutscene. No? You don't get your guard broken in a boss cutscene, man? But he is fucking strange. He's going to be one of those weird, unique bosses. Sort of like living failures from Bloodborne, but probably actually kind of cool. But, nonetheless, I think I'm pretty much done. I've been sitting here doing this for over an hour. I thought this was going to be a 20-minute thing. It turned out to be an hour and 20-minute thing. But anyway, I did, in fact, order the collector's edition I stayed up trying to order that shit for a while, and I managed to do it, which I'm really happy about. I didn't buy the helmet, and I'm gutted I didn't actually go and buy the collector's edition of Elden Ring back when it first came out, but I wasn't in a financially stable position to be able to do that. I would have burnt a hole in my pocket that I never would have recovered from. I still regret it though. Would have been sick to have a statue of Melania and Mesmer, and then have them on like, I got 2 bedside tables on either side of my bed. It would have been sick to have one on the other, one on each. I'm gonna watch it one more time, all the way through, just because.
Peggy 16.
Pure and radiant, he wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men.
We all knew this was going to be the DLC entrance.
There is nothing more terrifying.
That's wallpaper worthy, right there. I might even have to do that.
In that forsaken place, blood must spill. Blood of your fellows. They are true faithful.
They were never saints. They just happened to be on the losing side of a war.
Oh, I just noticed there's 2 hands on its head. There's this one back here that's like controlling where to make it look, and this one controlling its mouth. That is so strange. It makes me think that this head is more or less like a prisoner of whatever is in here. Because it's being completely puppeted by it.
Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light?
I presume
Big
you
boobs.
too are keen to know just what kind Mykola is doing here.
That's a cool dress. That's a cool fucking weapon. This thing is probably going to be really hard.
Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death in the embrace of Mesmer's flame.
No way he didn't get hit by that.
Come now. Touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again.
Man, fuck. Oh my god. Alright, well I can't wait for this, but I also can wait. But anyway. That's going to be it from me for this thing.